Second, we're live. Okay, everybody stand for the pledge. Councilwoman Van Bensko would like to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming on this. I think it's the first dark day we've had for a town board meeting in quite a long time. But we made up for it because I heard holiday music on the radio today. So it's a good time of year. I listen to the Christmas music.
Stocking the trees at Adams.
Yeah,
So
Sam's Club has them all up.
it's a great time of year. So we're going to open the meeting.
All right.
Clerk Moody would roll call.
Supervisor Parity,
Here.
Councilwoman Foot. Here. Councilman Hunt.
Here.
Councilman Davenport.
Yes.
Councilwoman Van Benskoten.
Here.
All right.
Great. So what we're going to do, just for everybody listening, we have our public hearing on the budget tonight. So there'll be an opportunity for everybody to speak as the meeting goes on. We advertise for a 6 p.m. public hearing. So I'd like a motion to open a public hearing on the general highway and special district budget.
So moved.
Second, okay. All in favor of opening a public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So if anybody would like to speak on our town budget, I have copies in the back. When they're online, you can speak. This right now, public hearing is just to speak on that. We're here just to listen. We can't engage you. So would anybody like to speak? Okay, no worry. Okay. We'll give everybody another second. If anybody has a question about the budget down the road, we're all accessible. Please give us a call, reach out to us. Budget's online on our social media. Heather's got copies in her office. I can always make copies. So, all right. So if nobody like to speak, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on closing the public hearing?
Well, after that rousing discussion,
We got a lot of stuff to look
I
at.
think we have to contemplate that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Okay. So now it gets a little tricky because at 6:05, we have a public hearing on our water district and it's only 6:03. So by law, I have to wait 2 minutes. We can't do it early. So I guess I'll quick tell you kind of how the meeting goes. We'll do these public hearings. We have 3 resolutions tonight. And again, they're all in the back if anybody wants to follow us. We'll have a public comment on those 3 resolutions. You're welcome to speak on those. If we go through the resolutions then, and then we quick have some business that we'll discuss publicly, and then we open the meeting for public comments. If anybody'd like to have a quick discussion with us, or you can wait till after the meeting and come up. So there's definitely an opportunity to speak, even though we're going through these public hearings pretty quick and stuff. There'll be an opportunity for everybody to speak. So it's 6:04.
No, stretch.
We got one more minute.
Stretch.
So we can ask Kenny, how did the Giants do this weekend?
They did not do as well as the Jets, but then
Well, I'm a
again, the
happy
Jets
Jets
didn't
fan.
play.
They didn't lose. They had a bye this week and they didn't lose. So I guess I can't be upset about that.
We're getting candidates for head coach, general manager, offensive coordinator, maybe a new owner.
Michelle says we're good.
We're good.
Ready.
We're on, all right. So we're online. Awesome. All right. We have less than a minute. When I was in the legislature, we would have 8 public hearings some nights. And sometimes they'd go over, so you would go right into the next one. But other times you'd wait 3 or 4 minutes between every one, and you just had to do it. So this isn't too bad.
I will say before the 6:05 meeting, Rich, thanks for all the hard work on the budget.
Oh, no. Thank you, guys. Okay, 6:05. So can I get a motion to have the public hearing on the High Falls water budget?
So moved.
Second.
Great. All in favor of opening the public hearing for the water district?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Would anybody like to speak on the water district budget? Okay. I'm going to take a motion to close the public hearing on the water district budget. We've never had anybody speak on this budget. The main budget, yes. The water district budget, no. So
So moved.
can motion a second to close the public hearing?
Second.
Thank you.
Mary Ann, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Great. Okay, minutes. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Tim. Heather sent the minutes out. They look as they always do. Any questions for Heather on the minutes?
Yeah, I didn't see anything. Look fine.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Great. So now we're going to do vouchers.
Okay, so there are no amendments from the October 21st meeting. So the vouchers that we have this evening, we have general fund vouchers 639 through 668 for a total payment of $33,212.08. For the highway fund, we have vouchers number 297 through 310 for a total payment of $12,570.60. We have the High Falls Water District vouchers, number 138 through 140, for a total payment of $9,972.63. And for the RMC, we have vouchers number 163 through 168 for a total payment of $25,209.30. If I could have a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion on vouchers? So before we pay any bills, they have to be approved by the board. So. Any discussion? If anybody's got any questions afterwards or tomorrow. Okay. No more discussion? All in favor of approving the vouchers?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to I'm going to give Lou Cornelli. Lou is our highway superintendent, and he wants to, with the winter months coming up, I asked him and he volunteered to come just to give a brief update on what's going on.
So we are gearing up for winter. The trucks are there, we're servicing them, starting to flip them over, put plows on. Our new one should be delivered within 2 weeks. It's at the dealership, getting some programming done. It's being outfitted in Ellenville, and that's why I asked you about surplus and equipment, because we're gonna get rid of one. This one's gonna take its place. And we're starting to do a little bit of work in preparation for next year's road work, CHIPS money. We're gonna buy some stone and do some stuff like that. Other than that, the one thing we may want to consider here soon, in 2027, the emissions on trucks, large trucks, is going to change, and it's going to up the price. They said about 15 to 20%. So after I meet with Brian Pickard, the accountant, we may want to think about buying another truck.
And those trucks are about 300,000
Yeah,
that Lou's talking about.
Kenny, that's gonna go through, Kenny, right? That 27 emission,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not gonna get
because
back
they're
down.
tooled, and it's gonna increase the amount of DPF fluid that has to get thrown through the truck. So we paid $155 for the chassis alone. And so, it'll be another 15,000.
The issue you're gonna face as a board is that everybody's on that plan, so that the vehicle's price is going to spike. That's the bottom line. So you gotta, because everybody wants to not get in the first year of a new run of a vehicle that's running fleets.
Right.
So you gotta look at that and go, yes, no, maybe so.
So I'm confused. So we don't have to replace all the trucks?
No, it's one.
But if,
Go ahead.
no,
Every time in other words, whenever you have to get a new one, it has to be.
unless you purchase it before
So in
2027.
The standard of emissions is gonna change.
Okay.
And the price is gonna go up.
All right.
So we
and I
have a
understand.
year to beat that price increase.
Yeah.
And anytime they engineer new things on trucks, you never take the first year, because there are always
Hiccups.
issues, especially in those diesel trucks, you know. So,
And the truck that's coming in 2 weeks, we ordered about 4 years ago originally?
well, you started it, yeah, but it actually, we
Reordered it.
ordered it in February.
Right.
This year,
Yeah.
so it
Re-
came
right.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But,
Kim,
go ahead.
Kim, you had a suggestion. I don't know if this is the time to discuss it. Around, at some point, Lou, maybe looking at the usage of the equipment.
Yeah.
You want to say a little bit about it?
That's- I think I just asked the question, again, it's gonna be up to you guys to look at it, but what I would look at is running fleets. The way I always look at things is you have to maximize the utilization of a vehicle. And when you're looking at the fact that vehicles are costing and they'll be 350, 400 very quickly, right? When they're costing that much, you cannot afford to have vehicles that are just not on the road, not being used, not doing work, right? That's just where it's at. So if you're running fleets, you have to just take that into consideration. Now you also have public safety, right? So you've got to get a balance there, right? But my point that I was making to you guys as board members is as you go forward, you need to look at how many hours, how many miles, how many days vehicles are on the road. And you really have to look at that and go, if it's not, why? And on a larger scale, which, Rich, Daisy, everybody here, I've pushed this and I will continue to push it. There needs to be a consolidation in services of this stuff. Because when you look at other towns, I mean, we are at least a well-managed town in a good situation. You have towns that are not, and they can't afford this going forward. So you have to do some things to make the econs work. So all that stuff, just from me running fleets, that's what I would be looking at.
Do you look at that now? Do you have reporting about
When
that
it
now?
comes to that, when it snows, if you take a truck out of the game, it takes longer to plow roads.
Mhm.
So there's routes that are established, and you could tune those up a little bit, but right now it works well. So if you take 2 trucks away, the roads are gonna take a couple, 3, 4 hours to, right now they go out, they work with the sunlight. The sunlight is your best friend when it comes to melting the road off with salt. So, you plow them, you put your stuff down, and usually they'll bear up. So if you take some trucks out, plus they haul blacktop all summer long, and they're multi-use. They're not one. We have one truck that has one use, it's for the winter, but it's in really decent shape, and it isn't costing us a lot of money. So we'll keep that one and get rid of another one instead. So that's kind of what I look at. But just remember, when it comes to the winter, they're all assigned a route. So when you take one away, you increase the level of service.
So at this point, the level of tracking when the truck's on the road, do you do that kind of tracking now or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we could, but it's easy to do.
Do the guys,
The other thing
oh,
from a
sorry.
safety standpoint, right, is that most private fleets, I'll say, this doesn't happen much on the government side. All of our stuff has inboard cameraing, monitoring of hours of service, what's going on, how much it's operating. So all that information is right there. And from your insurance standpoint, I mean, those are all things that as you go forward, you have got to look at that if you're running a fleet as to how to do that, because you have to minimize your costs and your exposure. Because we are on the road, we are plowing, you are blacktopping, you are doing stuff in hazardous, unsafe kind of environment, right? So you have to have something to show what's going on from that standpoint. So there's a lot to look at there that municipalities and government entities are well behind, and that's not like pointing a finger, this is just the fact. They're well behind what's going on the private sector. This is just how it is.
We are GPS.
Yeah, but GPS isn't showing you what's going on the
And
road.
the bladed equipment, the stuff like the backhoes and the loader and the grade all they don't have.
Yeah.
There's an
Do-
expense
do-
to it.
Do your guys, do they fill out like DVR reports?
They do.
Because we could do electronic.
At the end of the day,
Most DVIRs are electronic now. Yeah.
Or they're paper, you can still buy them online.
Eh,
But yeah, no, they shoot, you're right. And that way you'd know the mileage every day of a truck. I mean,
We can get it through the GPS too.
okay, cool. Thanks, Lou. And Lou, I want to thank Lou. He's always helping us out with paving projects. We don't really have a grounds department, a buildings and grounds department. So a lot of it falls on Lou and his staff. And
Thank you for the lighting. What a difference that in the building. And next year we'll get kicking on it.
we'll have our Christmas party there next year.
Yeah, there you go. Well, at least you'll see it really helped. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. All right, so now we're going to move to public comment. So again, this portion, it sounds redundant, but We have three resolutions. We're going to actually vote to approve the budget or not approve it, the general budget, and then we'll vote to approve or not approve the water budget, and then the surplus truck equipment. So would anybody like to speak on any of those three resolutions? If you would, raise your hand.
I just have a question. Do you, if you can't sell equipment, do you donate or anything like that to
It's
those
a,
in need? Like,
it's a good
Mr.
question.
Davenport, maybe?
you know, we're a municipality, so we have to get best value unless we work with another municipality. We can donate to another municipality, like a different government you can donate to, which we've done in the past. And we've purchased Gardner. We bought a truck from Gardner, the town of Gardner last year. So there's a website, Auctions International, right? Is that what you put it on? And it's recognized by the state as meeting all the procurement laws. And generally, you bid and they go. They do go. They do
Since
go.
you've been the highway superintendent, Lou, that has not been an issue.
No.
Everything that we've put up is sold.
Yeah. Even when the price is low, the auction house will call them and, it's called Auctions International.
Yep.
And there's another one, Gov Deals.
And anybody can buy it.
Yeah.
We can all go online and buy it. No, it's not just municipalities.
Yeah.
It's open to the public. So they've got some neat stuff on there. Yeah. So, cool. Thanks, Lou. Okay, so nobody would like to speak on any of the three? Okay, so we're going to move past that. So we're going to go to Resolution 86, which is the General Highway and Special Districts budget. Can I get a motion for discussion? Okay. Any questions on the budget? Or any questions on the process? It's been good.
You can explain that we're doing this now and we can still go back.
So, right, so what we do today is, this will be setting the budget for 2026. This is what Heather will send to the county. The tax rate will be set for our two fire protection districts, our water district, our two very small lighting districts, the highway budget for Lou, and the general budget, which is building and assessor and the courts and planning and zoning. So that's, they will be set. Once January 1st comes, the town board can always amend the budgets. We can't raise more taxes, but we can move money around within the budget. So it's not a perfect document. It tries to be a guide to get us to be able to pay our bills for the year. And so our tax rate's going up 1.9% for everything, every tax in the town. The good news is, because of increased assessments, improved properties, for the highway and the general, people will actually be paying a little bit less in taxes next year. It went from like $3.03 per thousand to $3.01. So a little better. And then the rescue squad went down significantly, about 15%. So people will know. You'll see.
Yeah, that was are we talking now?
Yeah,
Or
you can
do we
talk.
know them to talk?
No, there's no public comment now. We're just the five of us.
No, that's another example of sharing resources. So they went down, what is it, like around 16% for the emergency because of Rosendale and others. So it's good to see savings there. And it saved us from going over the 5% cap, which I was very happy about, given our neighbors are going far above. I don't know what Rosendale has settled on at this point, but it's like they started out at 12%.
Theirs is Wednesday night.
It was Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, they were arguing around 12%, then down to 9%. But so I'm glad to see that we're in better shape.
We are one of probably 3 or 4 municipalities in Ulster County that are not exceeding the tax cap, that we're staying under it. So there's not many. Most are going over it. New York State retirement costs. This year, our retirement costs are $151,000 for all of our employees. Next year, they're $268,000. So our retirement costs for our employees in 1 year are going up $117,000. That alone is like a 5%, 6% increase in our taxes. Health insurance is up 8%. So we all deal with it in our personal lives. So it's really, really hard keeping the budget down. But because of the work of our staff and everybody here, we feel good about the budget. I think we'll be fine. So
But we're running out of options.
We're running low on oxygen, but we're gonna make it through 26. Anything else? Thanks.
Marianne, it's not our problem.
Okay,
I mean, so everybody knows, there's the 250,000 for the community center or other repairs. It's just there as a placeholder at this point, because we don't know what we're gonna do, what we
don't
have
know
to do going
How
forward.
much it's gonna cost or whatever, or what kind of funds we'll have.
Yeah.
right. So, thanks. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Resolution 87, the 2026 High Falls Water Budget. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So, second.
Second, Tim. Okay, this budget, the tax rate stayed the same. That did not increase at all. Any discussion on this budget? This is a very small budget. There's about 200 users in the whole district, 160 are in Marbletown, about 40, 45 are in Rosendale. So
What quarter of this year do we expect to have those all up and running so they're all billable?
the meters,
There's 75 left to go,
a
according to
little less
last
than
week.
that, I
Little
think.
less than
We've been
that.
getting more. He's been doing more.
So my
So,
question.
okay, so yes, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
126 were installed
Right, but it's,
As of when though?
last week.
He's been doing
Right,
them. He handed a bunch more in the last day or
Today
two.
also.
Yeah.
so hopefully by the end of Q2, we'll be close to 100%.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So there are some people that refuse to get new meters,
Mhm.
and we will be sending them a letter saying their service will be terminated if they don't allow them. People can have the option of not getting the cellular device where it can be read remotely. We would charge $75 a quarter, and we will physically go into the house and read it on a quarterly basis. We'll do that for people. But there's 3 or 4 people right now who are outright refusing a new meter. So those folks, we will send them a letter. We're giving them, we're not at the end line yet, so we're trying to still work with them, but they will get notices saying their service will be terminated, and we'll shut it off at the road. And then they'll get the new water meter pretty quick. I hate to do that, but we may have to.
I mean, this is for next year, but I was at the board meeting, and there's discussion of wanting a garage for their truck. So that'll come up in future discussions, but they're estimating that would be about 100,000 for a garage.
They gotta get in line.
Yeah. So the truck they're talking about is a water truck. New York City bought it DEP bought it for the High Falls Water District when we do those shutdowns for the aqueduct. It is very, very rarely used. I want to sell the truck. I can't get consensus yet because the truck is just sitting outside deteriorating. It was about a $240,000 truck. I think we should just sell it, get 150 to 175,000 for it, and then put that money in a reserve fund. And if there are shutdowns, we could hire Turco. We could always go buy another truck, and that money will sit because the truck is going to continually depreciate, and it's very, very rarely being used anymore.
And the other piece in that, which they said during the shutdown, which is December 1st through 16th, they don't think we're going to have to truck water because we're not meeting our capacity now.
We have a 21-day backup supply, which is almost unheard of. Most
Well, that's
municipalities
true.
have a 2-day backup.
And if you use the truck, it has to be washed out with, I guess it's chlorine or Clorox or whatever, bleach and other disinfectants in order to actually haul the water, which then takes,
Well, so when they had
Additional time.
when they did the shutdowns in 2019, 20, and 21, the county gave us a heated garage to park the truck in. Because otherwise, if you leave it outside, a little bit of water stays in the truck, whether it's in the tubes or the hoses and it would freeze. So the county let us, but they needed that for something else. So hopefully, and then we're finding out some more about the shutdown. It may not be, as Mary Ann and I found out today, it may not be full 2 weeks. So we may, to be continued on that. They're worried about the drought and they're worried about some other stuff, this city. So it's,
is it, you can confirm this, but they were talking about 3 million gallons a day lost from the leaks.
they don't
from High
know.
Falls.
They don't know. I've heard upwards of 10 million.
It's
We've heard different
Whoa.
numbers.
Yeah.
A day.
Is this a sewer system?
No, so we have a,
Aqueduct.
The
so in
aqueduct.
Stone Ridge, by Daisy's house, the pressure tunnel, the aqueduct along Atwood Road, it's above the road. And then near Daisy's house, It goes down like 500 feet and it goes through Stone Ridge and under the Rondell Creek and through High Falls. And then before Bonteque, it comes up on lower 27 Knolls. It comes up and, apparently to go under streams, they would need this pressure tunnel, which was built in 1918. And they need the pressure to get it through the mountain. It's because it's all gravity fed. This pressure tunnel is so much pressure, the water's just bursting out. And we've got some areas in town where they've got geysers that come out of the ground like 3 or 4 feet. As soon as they shut the aqueduct down, they don't dewater it, but they stop the pressure. We have had people's wells going dry. These geysers just disappear. So we're working with DEP. Marianne and I have been meeting with them a lot. It's a lot of work. We meet with them all the time, and we started drilling wells today.
Yeah.
So
Right,
we're because the DEP and the U.S. Geological Survey monitored wells in this area, and when they did these shutdowns in 18, 19, and 20, people's wells dropped 60, 80 feet, and some went dry. So they gave us money to go and mitigate these impacts, and so we're today, and by the end of the week, 10 wells.
Yeah.
One person is directly above the pressure tunnel, and it's only like 230 feet deep at that area. So they need special equipment to drill. It's really, you guys have no idea. You have no idea how much work it is. It's crazy, but it is what it is. And then the procurement process with the New York City is extremely difficult. It's an extremely lot of work. So, and people have to sign things and they don't want to sign them, and then you got to explain it to them, and it's been crazy. So anyway, all right, on the High Falls Water District.
And the good news is we're compliant. The district is compliant now with the EPA, so now it's yearly testing that has to
Instead
be
of
done.
quarterly.
Yeah.
Just don't drink the water. No, I'm kidding. And we get our water for High Falls out of the aqueduct. We're directly tapped into the aqueduct, so. Okay, all in favor of the High Falls Water District?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 88 is surplus highway equipment. Can I get a motion for discussion? Second.
Second.
This is, Lou had sent us an email about selling a 2006 International plow truck with the sander, 2017 Smith 4-yard sander, and miscellaneous parts and equipment. So this just be to declare it surplus and allows Lou to sell it. And the money goes in the Christmas party fund? Lou likes his money. He likes it going back to the highway department.
It's a
He
sander.
doesn't miss a thing.
It's a sander.
So it's a big truck that's got a sander in the back.
Yeah, that sander.
It's separate.
From the
Gardner?
truck you guys bought,
The what?
the Dodge that you bought for.
Oh,
It was a sander that went.
Separate sander.
so does that money come to us?
You didn't buy the sander, you didn't want it.
Oh, all right. You didn't charge us for it? So
Wow.
in New York State, the highway department and what we do are two totally separate budgets. The highway department's money has to stay with them. We're allowed to give them money, but they can't give the town money. So it's really interesting
And
stuff.
the-
So
and the facility, the garage is,
that comes out of ours. I know.
well, no, just the, whatever,
Lou reminds me all the time where the money comes out of.
the old town hall.
Yep. So,
And there's some wood, like
Yeah.
what wood is?
There's a pile of surplus wood that's up at the transfer station, like firewood.
Like firewood?
Yeah.
we do this periodically. You'll get a few $100. Somebody will bid on it. They'll come with a cherry picker and take the firewood.
Nice.
We don't want residents up there with chainsaws taking the firewood. It's just too much of a liability for us, so. Cool. So any questions on the surplus? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, we'll go through this really quick now. Okay, business, the transfer station is closed tomorrow for Election Day. It's a holiday for town staff. And next Tuesday, Veterans Day, the transfer station will be closed too. So it'll be closed the next 2 Tuesdays. Union contracts, we're very close. We're out a year and we've been meeting with them. So I'm hoping at our next meeting in November, we'll have a resolution, so to hopefully approve that. Mortgage tax, our first mortgage tax was $90,000. And I just got a notice, our second mortgage tax is $146,000. So we budgeted 220 for the year and we're going to come in at 236. So we're doing a little better than we thought. So that's good news. Old Town Hall, the food pantry has a little leak in the building.
I was going to ask you about that.
And so we don't know for sure. There's water, we don't know if it's the roof. There's some water that the food pantry noticed in the one office. I think it was your old office, right? It's your old office. And so I called the gentleman from Saugerties. That's a mold and air quality tester. And he can't come till Thursday. And I'm going to speak to a roofer, try to get somebody out there. I'd rather, some people have walked around the building and don't smell a thing. Some other people are saying they're getting sick. So I don't know what the answer is, but we need to get it tested. And the food pantry would like us to find them a new home temporarily, but I don't know too many buildings in this area that we can just put them in. So it's really,
3 days.
it's really tricky. So Thursday, the gentleman will be out. I don't know how long the air test will take, but I can't imagine it'll be more than a day or two to get the results back. So.
I mean, this feels like it came up so suddenly.
It's rained twice since June, so I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm sure there's something. 2 people have been on the roof, and both people say there's no visible leaks. Maybe we need a little bit of soffit work and stuff, but they did not see any signs of a leak. So
I just
I
mean,
don't know. I'm not a
the mold
construction.
situations just seems, I mean, we didn't hear anything about this before.
I just heard about it 2 days ago, or not 2 days ago. Thursday was the first. I called a guy and he can't come till Thursday, and there's not much more we can do.
See what we find out when he
We'll
does.
see what we find out. But in the meantime, there's, with the federal benefit expiring November 1st, and our county executive Metzger is giving, I think, 300,000 or 400,000 to 3 food pantries, one of them which is being ours. So we're expecting a large increase in food deliveries and giveaways, and Thanksgiving coming up, and the backpack program for the kids. So it's an extremely busy time of year for them, and it's just a lousy time for this to have happened. So, but, we can't snap our fingers and fix it. It's just a process. It's not coming through the ceiling. It's not, it's not like the freezers or we have no electric or something like that. I mean, the building is functional. It's just we need to figure out what's going on here. And hopefully I won't get yelled at for a few days. So,
Nice try. Nice try.
and then tomorrow's election day. Everybody get out and vote. That's it with me. Anything with you, Ken? No?
Well, as Tim said, the aqueduct is shutting down the 1st of December and,
First of December.
yeah, and Walden Engineering and the DEP, we met with them today, and they said we should see within 24 hours the impact of that. And where people will have an idea if it's affecting their wells or not, so everybody be vigilant.
If you live in that area, and we're going to monitor like an additional 10 wells. So we're going to monitor 10 new wells. Somebody will go out before the shutdown. We hired Titan. They will come out and test people's well level, where the water is in a well. And then once the shutdown happens on the 6th or the 7th, they'll go out and do another depth to see how much the water drops. So we're trying to figure out the extent of where this is going. So Tim, can we put a monitor in your well?
Yeah, it's not done yet, but definitely in Asia.
We've got about 4 spots along 209 or 5 that we've identified. So
I was just going to say, for the grant for the community center, I just saw today they revised the scoring on September 23rd, which is interesting after the grant went in, but
really,
it wouldn't. Yeah, it's not evidently going to affect. Well, the scorers know the change in the scoring.
why wouldn't they have notified us?
I'm not sure why, but just on the website, It's on the website. But in the meantime, there's nothing about the award except the Swim New York Award, which is also managed. They won't announce until December 15th. So I don't know if they're related at all. But anyway,
Interesting.
word.
Thanks. And then Tim, you let us all know the Recovery Center opened up.
yes. So yeah, Lexington Center opened last Monday after 3 years applying for a license and getting funding aligned. Max knows this well. I'm shocked that they didn't actually pull out after what they've invested in time and resources. But anyway, services are being provided for people with opioid use disorder. And it is a satellite program, actually, I found out for now, related to its Poughkeepsie office. So full services they can get in Poughkeepsie. This is partial service
Okay.
for people who have an opioid use disorder. And they're really good to work with. If there are any issues that come up, people are concerned,
Yeah, let us
please
know.
reach out to us, the planning board, or others. We can listen to that. And I did want to say, the mowing of the meadow evidently is going to take place in 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
I met with
You
Eric.
spoke, you spoke to
I
him.
met with him on Saturday.
Good.
So in the next 2 weeks, he should get that done.
That's great. Thanks, Tim. Daisy.
Yeah, just giving everybody a heads up on November 12th at the D&H Canal House. There's going to be a meeting hosted by the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board and also the Parks and Recreation Committee
In ECC.
and the ECC, thank you, to discuss possible trail connectivity going forward in town, but particularly between High Falls and Marbletown. And Tom Conrad has a great map that he's put together. He's did it a while ago, and it's fantastic. Shows you all the possibilities, and he will present that. And Bob Anderberg from Open Space Institute will also be there to talk about possible trail development and funding and things like that. So, going forward, it would be a great way for. We've got access to the community preservation funds. It'd be a great way to spend that money. Not all of it, but
Right. No, that's a great use of that money.
Yeah, that'd be great.
it's, what did I say?
You said the 12th.
12th, yeah.
Well, yep, it's next
5:30.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
not this coming. Ken.
Just wanted to circle back to something because I know it's a very large idea concept that's very hard for residents and everybody to get their head around. But this water issue could easily become the largest economic impact to the town in the past 50 years. It's just, and it's hard for people to grasp when you're talking about, like, we don't know how many millions of gallons may or may not be taken out of our aquifers, feeding it. But I really think we've spent a lot of time going through a lot of projects that at the end of the day don't add up to a thimble to what this impact of this issue can be. So it's not just incumbent on the board, but the members of the community. You've really got to pay attention to this. It's really could, and again, we're all still in the, like, we don't know,
Because it's underground, so
But
you
it-
can't see it.
but it could be just very, very devastating to a large area of the town. And so I just, and I got 3 meetings left, so it won't get solved.
Well, we
But
can have a special meeting. if
you could have a
want.
special meeting, come and bring me
We'll have-
back.
We'll have a special
reel me
meeting.
in. Yeah, I'll
Just 'cause
sit
we
right
wanna
next
see-
to Vivi.
We
It'll
wanna
be
have
great.
Vivi and Tim and
I'm glad
Kenya.
you said that, because I think also that compounded by the fact that we're, because of climate change, we're dealing with water issues anyway, just in general. And so all of those things could to add up to one big hot mess if we're not really paying attention.
So our engineers today met with the Hurley Ridge or the Rolling Ridge Meadows Water District. And I don't know if any people know, but in Stone Ridge, when you come off of 209 onto 213 to head towards Rosendale, before Christ the King, there's a little road there, Ricky Road. So if you go in Ricky Road, Allen Street and Cindy Lane, that development was created in the late 1960s. And there's actually a private water company that runs the water back there. When people bought their properties and built their houses, God bless you, they had an option of drilling a well or joining the water district. So like 6 drilled their own well and 28 joined the water district. Those 28 houses are fed by one well that's 320 feet deep. And that's very close to the aqueduct. So that's one of the ones we're going to be.
Yeah.
But who would think a 320-foot well in Marbletown could feed 28 houses?
Yeah.
But then when you
It's
think
just
about it now,
amazing.
And the aqueduct runs right under it.
Right under it. So, it'll be interesting to see what that well does when they didn't go dry during the shutdowns in 1920 or 21. We didn't monitor it to see if the well level dropped, but clearly it had enough water for those couple months to continue to feed everybody. But 2 of the properties who have private wells, we're drilling new wells for them this week. One of them or both of them tomorrow. Actually, 3 of them back there are getting wells. 2 on Allen and 1 on Cindy are getting new wells.
Again, and I'm just going back to the economic impact and what we're trying to do as far as what we're dealing with having a town that's thriving. And that is just something that, again, we have a lot of great projects that we're working on. But again, without water,
Yeah,
none
no
of
doubt.
them matter, So, just,
Yep.
yeah, call
Well,
me
that
just
just
a glass half full here.
Yeah, but that being said, too, that really puts the urgency behind extending the water district,
Yeah.
Leggett and Stone Ridge. So just another reason, another justification for our potential funders actually as well. If we have, we can make a severe case.
So the city is paying, New York City is going to pay the town money to do a water district study for the areas impacted by the leak. The one engineer, Dennis, who built the High Falls Water District 20 years ago, he's too busy and cannot do a water district study. So I'm going to meet soon with DEP. We'll meet with them and to discuss hiring somebody. So we need to make sure whoever does this has experience.
I thought you were going to use Walden, no?
We have to see if they have enough, if they've ever done this before. So that's,
You want to make sure you get the right
we want
person.
to make sure we get the right person to do this water district study. So not to say we won't hire them, but there's,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
we just want to interview a couple of
arguing
different.
with a 600-pound gorilla. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's, you got to make sure you got the right people in the room.
so anyway, that's, do a water district study. Down in the town of Newburgh, they had this similar to what's going on here from the Delaware Aqueduct out of the Rondout Reservoir. And they did these analysis. They found out where water went down in people's homes. They ran the water district. Then when they actually fixed the leaks and shut the water off and fixed the leaks, other people that didn't show in these short 2-month shutdowns started to go dry. So they had water trucks there last winter. They had to put these heating blankets on them. They brought them outside of people's houses. So the city has been really good with us and they don't want the same thing to happen here because they're going to fix these leaks in about 5 years to 7 years. So we need to be ready for it.
That was the one thing that Charles was talking to you and me about. It's like his geological stuff does not measure time.
Right.
And that's what everybody wants to get into is time. It's like, no, this is what is happening. So really interesting.
Cool. All right. So everybody, you guys have all been patient. We'll open public comment. If you do, that was pretty quick, Vivi. All right. So we always let Vivi go first. Vivi's the mayor. We'll be able to have a discussion. And if anybody wants to come up after the meeting to meet with us individually or talk, we're happy to do that too. So Vivi.
Relevant to what you've been talking about, I just saw a movie that talked about the fact that high grasses increase the amount of water in the air. So that I've been trying to get people to not just shade their lawns the way we do, but to allow the lawns to grow. And that, if we had that all over, it really does make a difference in the amount of water that goes into our atmosphere. So if you'd like, I'll get you the name of that movie.
Yeah.
Very convincing that that's what we ought to be doing.
Interesting. Thanks.
So you could do it right out here. There's nobody that walks on that lawn out there. And you could do that,
Well, that's something, seriously, we can talk about that. I mean, that's a great idea, Vivi. It's really a good idea. So,
In connection to that, there's a really great book called Black Elk Speaks, and he talks about grasses. He was a medicine man, and he talks about grasses and how they actually help the environment and all nature and bees and all of that to thrive and prosper and propagate, and it kind of connects.
nice.
It's a great book.
Cool. Okay, anybody else like to speak?
Just open.
Yeah, just raise your hand. If you don't mind, just say,
Actually, if you don't mind, just say your name.
just for the record,
Just
so
for the
Heather's
record.
got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Weston Muller. We met last week and I guess that was the topic of the conversation I wanted to have today. Last week on the 27th, a bunch of my neighbors and I attended the planning board meeting to provide public comment on a proposed subdivision on Lapla Road. And we argued that the project required a more complete environmental assessment. And we presented photographic and written evidence. And the chairman reaffirmed the board's charter to manage the responsible development of our community, and suggested we come here. So here we are. It was a long meeting, and I apologize that we're going to have it again. So, okay, yeah. I wanted to pass some pictures around as well, if I could. Maybe
Sure.
I want to take a look, but I've got copies of. So in all of this, I learned a lot about Marbletown, so it's been a pretty eye-opening experience. And I found the comprehensive plan online, and I really like the opening passage of the vision, which is that Marbletown is a quiet and peaceful place, rich in local history, surrounded by natural beauty and open space. We cherish the quality of our environment and acknowledge our dependence on healthy, intact local ecosystems for the clean air and pure water, food and fiber, and fuel we require to sustain our health. And I think this conversation has demonstrated that perfectly. So despite the vision for responsible growth, the recent construction on Lapla Road has kind of shown a different story, where we've got visible scars on the land from sloppy construction activity. We've got clear cutting alongside strained water sources deep in a core woodland area. And we've got real estate listings advertising seasonal water features, also known as vernal pools, which are now subject to new regulations in 2025. And so together, I think all of this calls into question the adequacy of our environmental review and the need for urgent and more careful enforcement of the town's environmental standards. And the pictures I have are kind of the clear cutting. This is the neighborhood. And the time since the pandemic has certainly exacerbated development. At the planning board meeting, the chairman invited ideas for improving the development rules. And so in that spirit, I just wanted to present a few ideas. And the most important is more community involvement and collaboration. The thing that strikes me the most about all of this is we've got kind of it's a really negative feeling between neighbors developing on the road. And I feel like that could have been avoided if we had different notice radiuses, earlier notice, more collaboration in these kinds of projects earlier on. And, inviting the neighbors to provide their local expertise on when expert assessments for, threatened or species of special concern, wetlands that qualify for the 11 unusual criteria, would require an ecologist to walk through, for example. I think protecting the sensitive lands, there's a great resource, the Hudson Valley Resource Mapper, that kind of has all these GIS overlays that are, again, it's a desktop activity. I think if you can put a site plan in, you can put these GIS layers on that show you where the core forests are, the wetlands, the vernal pools, et cetera. And I think some of them are mapped, but not all of them are mapped, and the DEC on its website acknowledges, hey, it's going to require the participation of the citizenry to volunteer evidence, and that's what we're asking for. And then, just making sure that as we develop, as we add houses, as people move to this beautiful area, that we're preserving the rural beauty and wildlife habitat. And that's again where I think about the core forest. Every neighbor I know on the road has a house set back, 30 feet or so from the road, but then our backyard, we walk into this core forest, and that's where we meet each other. That's where we find peace. And I think, the new trend of putting houses deep in the core woodland along these long driveways is really eroding that character. And it's creating a lot of stress. I mean, you just hear the chainsaws, the caterpillars going all day, and it really takes a toll. And so, I don't have solutions. I had a list of, I'm a software engineer, so I had this list of like ordinance proposals. I don't want to get into that. That's, I'm happy to discuss some ideas I have, but I'm not an expert on that. I just want to put these issues in front of the town board so that, we can enrich the zoning laws that we have to protect the resources and the town's beauty. So thank you for your time and thank you for your consideration. And please take a look at the pictures.
Yeah.
They don't really do it justice, but I'm happy to take anybody on a tour up and down the road. So,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I guess I'll just say zoning is extremely complicated. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, is obviously extremely complicated. It's neighbor issues. The idea of zoning is twofold.
Mhm.
It's one, to obviously protect the community, but it's also to protect the property owners so they know what they can do with their property. I mean, none of us want to really be told what we can and can't do with our property. That the zoning law, the 4-acre zoning up there has been there long before any of us have ever been on the town board. Our zoning laws work. We're all here living in Marbletown because we love it. So our zoning laws work. There's no doubt. Nobody's are they perfect? No, but they work. And our population in Marbletown is lower today than it was in the 2000 census. So we're losing people.
Mhm.
School district is suffering. We need people living in Marbletown. And I get it. I live in the woods. I drive up Buck Road and I'm like, that house wasn't there when I rode the school bus. I tell my son every day that, and he's so tired of it. But the reality is people have a right to live in our community. They have a right to build a house in our community. And it's hard. Zoning is hard. You can't be too restrictive because then only rich people can buy property. And I think we can all agree that we don't want just rich people living in our community. We want everybody living in our community. So you can't make it too restrictive because then nobody will live here. So
I agree with that completely. I think the trend is for more wealth to move into the community and put these projects kind of deep in the shared resources of, folks who are less fortunate. And I think that the kind of quality of the housing on our street kind of tells that tale. So
right.
I get it.
It's a popular area. I mean, it's a nice area up there. You're close to the reservoir. It's a quiet area and it's desirable. And it's just hard for us because if we say you can't do 3 acres, 3 subdivision there, then you can't do it anywhere in town. And then it just becomes really hard. So,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really suggest making it too burdensome, but, just a few more check boxes, a few more forms, like it can all be tabletop exercise.
Mhm. Thank you, though.
Can I just ask,
Sure, Tim.
do you represent yourself or other people, or who are you representing?
Who am I representing? I'm representing Wesley John Oliver right now.
wife.
I am happy if you're telling me that we should make an organization to represent the Lamontville Conservation Alliance or something like that. But for right now, we're all getting into this together. So we're looking for help. We're looking for collaboration.
That's the core issue here, because I'm kind of missing,
So
we're we talking about
core
the
issue
entire
is-
road? No, I'm just talking to him right now, thanks. It's like, are we talking about the entire
So
road or
there's
one
a-
property
is it
or what are we talking about
20
here?
25
something acres, 22, 23?
25
The particular subdivision is 26 acres. This is
26.
a larger issue than that particular subdivision, though.
Yeah, because it's just been
Much
happening
larger
constantly.
issue.
Subdivision.
Since
Since
subdivision,
COVID, since the pandemic and what we've
I get
been
it, I get
seeing.
it. So somebody wants to do 3 lots on a 25-acre property.
Well, I'm a little, but I think, as I understand it, is it the lot size you're upset about, or is it where their position, the putting the houses particularly, siting of houses?
And then maybe.
So
we-
Right.
and I want to say it's not just about the zoning here. That isn't really the concern. It's, the zoning, yes, we understand the zoning is the legal basis and that, 4 acres is generous and it's not that it's the other things that the town should be looking into. And, sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet, but I was going to, but the information, I have 12 pages here of observations and recommendations made in the comprehensive town plan and 4 town commissioned studies and reports that basically the planning board has been allowing development projects that really are the opposite of what is recommended in these reports. And so it's not strictly about the zoning, it's about, taking into consideration these other things for Marbletown's future. So just to say my name is Ariane Giudicelli. I moved here in 2018. Before moving here, I worked in watershed management for the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, and then I worked as a water quality scientist for the Hudson River Foundation. And I'm a master bird bander. In 2020, I started a bird banding station on our property, and I look at bird populations in the area. So I was going to read you a letter that I had sent to the Bluestone Press, basically summarizing the meeting that we had. I do want to say though about, I have questions about this information that I pulled out, and I know I can't go through them now. There's not enough time. I'd like to email you. So who should I contact?
If you send it to supervisor@marbletown.gov, if you go to the website, I'm on there. You can,
Okay.
and I'll forward it to them. All our emails are there.
Okay. So then, I could send you this and also the questions. That way you have time to review, and then in the next meeting I can follow up with you. I'd like to, I guess there are a couple of things that I like to emphasize, as far as the zoning and this subdivision, and the fact that it's coming on the heels of an adjacent parcel that was just clear cut, the very back edge of the parcel where there are wetlands and there's a stream. There's another subdivision that is going in on Ashokan also. This particular one, there is a derelict structure on the property. We sort of feel that the planning board, the town could be encouraging rehabilitation of that structure. And I know that that's not related necessarily to the subdivision, but that clearing right into the middle of a 26-acre lot, where there are federally protected wetlands, where there's bedrock, where there's poor drainage, where there's steep slopes, where there's thin soils. It's sort of the opposite of everything that is recommended in here. And so that is sort of like where we're coming from, is like just not to look at other things. We believe that, full environmental assessment should have been performed based on species of special concern that are present. I have contacted DEC, and I've filed an official request for a jurisdictional determination for the wetland, because we share on our property the wetland with that property, which would require that a 100-foot buffer be placed. And in the plans, there's only a 30-foot buffer. So there are things like that where we just kind of are feeling like, why is it on us to prove that these things need to happen for, responsible development to occur? I also want to ask, is there a tree ordinance? Does the town have any kind of tree ordinance? Because I spoke with a lawyer, and he told me that many municipalities have one. And the fact that we've observed clear cutting during nesting season makes me think that there isn't one, and really there should be one, because you're having people clear cut trees back in the woods where you have birds that are listed as special concern that are nesting. So
Yeah, I don't believe we do.
We do.
yes.
We do?
Well, so specifically, it refers to different species and what times you can cut. So during like a subdivision process like this, if the property trips for certain species, it's part of the determination that they cannot do any clear cutting during that, or any cutting at all. I shouldn't say clear cutting. There's no, in fact, clear cutting going on this specific parcel. And with any application that comes in front of the board, the first thing that we look at is the total area of disturbance.
So that's included in the tree cutting then.
Absolutely. Any, if you look at that map a little bit more clearly, there's a delineated line as to what area will be disturbed. Less than
Okay.
1 acre requires a certain type of permit. 1 to 5 acres requires another type of permit. 5 and beyond requires a full SWIP, speedy, like it's very, very involved anytime you go above 5 acres. This specific application is below 1 acre total area of disturbance among the 3 lots. That being said, they will not be permitted to cut during that nesting period, but that's absolutely going to be a condition of any potential approval. That's boilerplate
So-
across all of our subdivisions.
So the property on Ashokan was not a subdivision. It was just sold to a developer.
Are we talking about 1 or 2 projects here?
We're talking about
You're bouncing all over the place. It's kind of hard for me to
Yes,
follow.
well, because it's about the subdivision, but it's not just about the subdivision, because it's the cumulative impact of what's been happening and what we've been seeing. So there's this other property on Ashokan that was not a subdivision, but they have cleared a very large area, and I contacted the DEC at the end of May when they were cutting down trees, and I had videos of them doing that, and DEC told me that they needed to have a permit, and they didn't have one. DEC never did anything about it. So you're telling me that they shouldn't have been cutting during that time
No,
of
in
year
fact,
anyway?
just on Chestnut Hill Road, the application that was on the agenda after you guys, there was a penalty given to the former owner of the property, not the people who are subdividing currently, because he just came in and clear cut 5+ acres.
Yeah, well, if you look at those photos, we can take you back there, so they should have been.
Is that the
fine.
project that we're talking about, or is that the one that was not the
This one's
project?
different.
And this is.
There's 2 projects in front of the
Yes.
planning board.
Can I make a suggestion? I mean, I think,
Understand what we're doing here.
well, I think that, you're talking about some environmental regulations that you think that our zoning code should be addressing more. But I think what might be best for you to do is to, you said you've written a bunch of stuff down. You can submit it to the town for record.
Yes,
We
I
can
will.
look it over. And then, I mean, actually, Rich and I right now are in the middle of,
We-
we're doing our zoning. We're working with the town planner. We can have him look at these things, see if we can come up with something that is reasonable. We can't promise you the moon on this, and because it's also, I implicitly trust our planning board, and I think that if something had been, it would have been brought to our attention if something was deliberately done. But I definitely understand your concern. It's all of this is very complicated because the town is growing. We're bringing in more houses. I mean, I know we're losing population, but I mean in terms of people building weekend houses.
So these owners, so for this particular subdivision, they already have a house on our road, and they're seeking subdivision for 3 additional dwellings. So,
Right, but the law doesn't look at
I
that.
know, but you're saying, right, that the population is declining, and yet, so.
Well, we're
these
talking
aren't
about in
houses
terms of
that
who's
are-
going to our schools and things like that, and
Right,
so,
well, they're
and
not
and it's a,
building more houses for the kids to go to school.
but this is anyway, just all I'm trying to say, it's the balance for the town, also when we,
So,
but it's not to say that, we wouldn't want to look at what you have to say, but
right.
we need to see something that's very specific and,
Yeah, oh, sure, I can send you, I'll send you everything that I've pulled out of those reports. I mean, in the instance of this, property where, so I guess my question also is then about enforcement, I see someone that is clear cutting, right? I mean, I was taking videos of them felling
have to
enormous trees. and
file
so-
a formal report with the building department.
Yeah, our code
So that's what
officers,
I'm supposed to do,
code officers,
okay.
You're-
And then
you're right.
they're
DC
trained in that. They're certified and they know the process.
So, okay, so I would still have to do that then in order.
The
for
reason why
these-
you have to do that is because if the town just arbitrarily goes in, then we're putting ourselves in the middle of something. We can't put our fingers on the scale with this. So, right, we don't have the resources to do, so we
Right,
have to
well,
have a
that's what-
formal report in case if it ever
So-
went to
What I
court.
will say, I mean, if our code officer drives past
Yeah, no,
somebody's
that's-
house
but if he
and they
actually
clearly
sees
see
it-
something that's not right, they can stop and issue cease and desist. They don't necessarily need a letter. It's just such a big town. They're not everywhere every
Right, I mean,
day.
obviously, if
so it
people are
helps.
cutting, it's 15-acre lot, way back in the woods, it's not like you're just gonna be, you can hear chainsaws going, but it's not like unless you are actually there, you're gonna realize that they're cutting
I mean, if
trees
somebody's
down.
doing something wrong, we want to know about it. So, I mean, you would be giving, it's helpful for us if we have that record. So we need to have formal complaint
Right.
submitted to
okay.
the planning board, to the building department.
Okay, so I will do that. I guess, so then this sort of, as far as, encouraging responsible development and sort of, providing guidelines for builders and developers to try to do things responsibly. Is there anything like that? Is there, as far as.
That's what the planning board does. I mean, that's the planning board. I mean, they
If I can speak on this for just a moment, it's not even that this ask as far as an application goes is to the fullest extent of what they could ask for this parcel. I mean, the 4 acre zoning and the lot size initially, it could be developed to, 5 lots or.
They're federally protected.
That doesn't exclude their availability to build like as long as they can maintain buffers and improve greenways.
I don't think.
Listen,
It's
just
your
from-
opinion. He's telling you what the
probably-
laws are.
I know what the laws are.
So can I just say, and we spoke briefly, Marbletown has a law where you can build 3 houses on 1 lot. You don't have to go to the planning board. This project doesn't really even have to go to the planning board. They could just go to the building department with sets of plans and build those houses. They actually don't even have to go to the planning board. And this has been a law that's been on the books for 25 or 30 years.
That law needs to be changed.
No, but I'm just saying, but our law allows that. It allows
Well,
multiple dwellings on a lot if the lot is big enough.
Right, but so you're talking about a place in an environmentally sensitive area
But-
that has like
so-
really steep slopes.
Okay.
And so, I just don't understand how that doesn't
Can I-
come into play with
and-
wetlands and species, listed species.
Can I just say, and I totally appreciate and respect what you're saying. We have our community preservation plan.
Yes.
Before we could implement that 2% tax, we had to do a GIS on every parcel in the town. So we took every study the town has, the agricultural farmland protection plan, aquifer protection study, the development plan in 1969, the 2005 Index of Natural, Cultural, and Historic Resources, Part 1 and 2, our Natural Heritage Plan, our Biodiversity Report from 2007, another Biodiversity Report in 2012, our Business District Zoning, our Government Climate Action Plan of 2019, our Hazard Mitigation Plan, significant habitats in the town of Ulster or in the town of Marbletown. Here's the crazy thing. When you look at the wildlife and habitat priority levels in the town,
Mhm.
that one piece of property you're talking about sticks out as low.
I know.
All the surrounding
Why?
properties are
I'm
high.
wondering why.
I don't know why, but we have spent a lot of money to
A
have
lot of money,
somebody
and that we had some
to do this
Why?
plan.
Because when you look at the Hudson Valley Natural Resources Mapper and you overlay, forests and wetlands and the.
But federal wetlands are not the same as state wetlands. They're
Well,
not,
there's state and federal.
not on his property, not on that
Yes,
property.
because they're on our property and it's shared with his property. That's why I contacted the DEC. I know they sent him a non-jurisdictional letter because it's too small, but based on the species present, it qualifies for the 11.
But this is saying a wildlife and habitat priority, it comes in as low. And I'm not saying this is 100%
I
right,
saw that and
but
I
it's,
was like,
this is not necessarily even a guide for the planning board, but it's a guide for us and the community, when we do look at reviewing laws and stuff.
yes, I saw that one parcel stood out. The other ones, though.
I know,
not,
it's-
and
it's
they've been,
weird.
Developed anyway. And everyone, who does amphibian migrations crossing in that area will tell you that we have tons of salamanders that are state listed as special concern that utilize those properties.
But they're on your
full of
property, they're on all of our properties.
Yes.
And we all built houses. And and I'm not looking to argue with you, but people have a right to build houses. My son, the youth in our community all have a right to buy property and build houses in our
Yes.
town. And we do not,
Our argument is
stop
not
them
against
from
building
doing that.
houses. It's about not destroying like the interior of the forest and not building huge long driveways and having to clear that much. And that
So
fragments
what's
out
the
that.
and that's a
ask?
fair,
That's
that's fair, that's fair. That's
And
total.
And is that in your
It's for
right?
responsible, yeah, it's, I mean,
That
it's
there-
advocating for responsible development and that's not responsible because you're cutting everything up and you're losing, you're creating edge habitat, which means a bunch of species can't breed there anymore either. Like you've got scarlet tanager, which needs like contiguous forest habitat to breed, and wood thrush. So then once you start cutting it, into pieces, you lose those birds, they go away. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about completely stopping house building, but like, and, you know, and it talks about encouraging people to build that are, you know, closer to an existing road and not creating these big.
If it was a bigger subdivision, they could force a cluster development, but a 3-lot is a minor and our law doesn't
I
require it.
know, and that's why
know.
people do the minor instead of the major.
Right, right. If it's major, it's different. I get it.
We look forward to I look forward to your report and reviewing it in detail and could impact how we review the zoning and or seeker reviews that are done.
Yes, that's,
Right.
we would, yes. So I know that other people want to speak too. but-
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate your time. And get that to me if you don't mind.
Yes.
Rich, I have to go.
Okay, thank you, Daisy.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here along with our neighbors, so this might be a little repetitive, but this is more of an overview because I have to tell you all, we are all very unhappy with what is happening in our general area. And I have, yes, sorry, my name is Haley Golden. I'm gonna read this letter because I'm not good at just going off the cuff, but some of this, based on what you have all said tonight, might not exactly apply, but I'll try to be as quick as I can. My name is Haley Golden and I was born and raised on Upland Road, which is where I also live now. In Marbletown, I attended Rondout schools and both of my parents were school teachers at Rondout and have been active community members for almost 60 years. I cannot overstate how special this place is to me, and I'm here tonight in response to the recent subdivision and building proposal on a 25-acre parcel off of Lapla Road that is less than a mile from our home. This subdivision is what brought our neighbors all together and brought me here tonight, but it is in many ways a breaking point, a straw that broke the camel's back, which I see as just one example in a concerning pattern of development that I have witnessed in recent years. It is a pattern of continued subdivision and construction of new homes in our rural and heavily forested area. Mostly vacation homes, I may add. They're not contributing to the community in the same way that a lot of our neighbors are here, I might say. So it is a pattern of continued subdivision and construction of new homes in our rural and heavily forested area, particularly along Lapla and Ashokan Road. While each proposal seems minor on its own, the combined impact of multiple new wells, septic systems, new homes, and tree clearing is altering the character and health of our community in irreversible ways. Our forests are already under great strain. Many trees are dying or dead from disease and insect infestations, and severe windstorms have taken down large sections of canopy. As many of you know, in July 2022, a localized storm with unprecedented 90-mile-per-hour winds tore through our area, altering the landscape so drastically that I barely recognize where I have spent the last 40 years. This kind of intense weather is only going to increase. Each new subdivision and building project means further clearing of trees that not only stabilize our soils and protect our water, but also provide essential wildlife habitat and natural carbon storage. The cumulative loss of these forests and other fragile environments like wetlands is directly at odds with our town's goals, as stated in the 2022 Community Preservation Plan to conserve large, high-quality forests and connections between them to allow plants and animals to migrate to suitable habitat as the climate warms. Water is another concern, which you all addressed tonight. Our region is experiencing more frequent and more severe droughts, and residents rely on private wells that draw from the same limited groundwater sources. I know of wells drying up in Marbletown already. Adding more wells and septic systems increases the risk of overdrawn aquifers and contamination of groundwater. Without long-term water studies and limits on development, this poses a serious and long-term threat to our community's sustainability in a time of growing water scarcity. I would like to know if the board shares those concerns and what it plans to do about it. You guys spoke about that a little bit tonight. I appreciate that. Road safety is also a major concern. Our country roads are narrow, winding, and already hazardous, especially in winter or at night. They were never designed to accommodate more traffic, large construction vehicles, or constant delivery trucks. I live on a small dead-end road, and I have witnessed Amazon vans speeding above 45 miles per hour to complete their delivery runs as fast as they can. More traffic, driveways, mailboxes, and turning points raise the risk of accidents for residents, pedestrians, school buses, cyclists, and wildlife. Equally concerning is the impact on emergency access. Fire trucks, ambulances, and other emergency vehicles often struggle to reach homes quickly on these roads. With our town's emergency response relying heavily on a small group of dedicated volunteers, Adding more houses spread over hard to access area further stretches an already limited system, not to mention the wear and tear on the roads from this increased traffic that we will all have to pay for. This is not just about one subdivision, it's about the cumulative impact of many small decisions that together threaten the safety, character, and sustainability of our community. I urge the board to pause and take a broader look at the long-term effects before approving more development areas like ours. Where will the current approval practices lead us in 1 year, 10 years, 50 years? Can Lamontville support us at that current pace of development? Will it be a place we all still want to live? Once these natural resources are gone, we cannot get them back. I don't claim to have the answers to these questions. Some solutions could include ideas, making it make financial sense for residents to keep their land intact, making it more favorable to renovate existing structures than to develop on pristine land, more town acquisition of core forests and shared natural resources, more thorough ecological review of proposed development. I and my fellow community members are here tonight to solicit the help and expertise of the board and to offer our own expertise, and I am hopeful that together we can come up with some creative solutions that meet the needs of the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And your service to our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should I send a copy of this?
Yeah,
to you guys?
or if you leave it, we can, I
Oh,
can,
If you'd
yeah,
like to leave it with me.
we'll make a copy and make sure everybody gets
Yeah, I
it.
can scan it to them.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. I'm Catherine Bull. I live at 891 Ashokan Road. And I also will read something as quickly as I can. I practiced it. I think I got through it in 2 minutes, so I'll do my best.
You're fine.
I really want to offer gratitude to the board for your public service. I second both Wes and Ariane's points as well as what Haley said. And I've heard points made tonight that I just want to say I think have helped clarify some things. But I want to offer my voice as a town resident with deep concern about the proposed development, not to building houses, but to the proposed development with regard to the environmental impact studies that have been done thus far, not to building houses. To that end, I will offer a brief context of my citizenship here and emphasize my dedication to the town's proposed comprehensive plan, which is what drew me here in 1998. I stand before you as a 27-year resident of Lamontville and owner of 891 Ashokan Road. I love Marbletown, Lamontville, and the surrounding areas in this beautiful Hudson Valley. I was born in Greenwich Village, Manhattan in 1962 and actually raised in Western New York in a small town called Brockport on the Erie Canal near Rochester, right at the border of Canada. I carry in my heart and soul a dedication to the values and aesthetics of the characteristics of nature preservation and conservation outlined in the town's plan. And my former husband and I in 1998 found our home on Ashokan Road, and we just knew we were lucky. We'd found a place we wanted to live forever. It had to do with nature and the way the townspeople supported the nature and the existing characteristics of this land. We were not wealthy people. My father and stepmom had just passed away the year before, both of them from cancer, and I received some funds and was able to make the down payment. And although we still had to work and live part of the year in the city, what I do, I cannot find work for here yet, but I'm trying. I'm a voice coach. We raised our children as city and country kids with 5 to 6 months of the year on the road. And I'm only giving you this context to tell you why I'm drawn to this and have seen change over these decades. We've spent all summers and every holiday and all long weekends here during that period. And then when my marriage came to an end, I took over the deed and moved here to live full-time. And I've held down the fort at 891 as a single working mom for over a decade. During that time and since 1998, I have engaged in as much support of local efforts to protect water and the lands as I could. Several years ago, my childhood hometown friend Craig Raleigh came to visit, and we got married last summer. Known him since we were 7 years old. And we are both deeply committed to this home and our town. And what drew me to this area, as I said, was the outspoken dedication that Marbletown citizens and local government representatives demonstrated towards conservation and preservation of lands. It was clear that an essential component in the value of the town and the county was the health of the land and animals. And I see that as a valuable piece in this puzzle. I read all the local papers and found that these community values meshed with mine. And that's why I bought the property. And the point I really want to make is that I think that's actually still why people buy the homes here. I really do. I think that they see that we are doing our very best to protect while welcoming, and that is the balance we are looking to seek. When a zoning board member made the statement that you can't stop progress, it occurred to me that progress must be defined. And to my mind, progress is actually not progress, not even financial progress, if it includes destruction of the very characteristics that define the draw of an area. Prospective community members and taxpayers love the characteristics of the beautiful land and the abundance of wild animals here. And that's part of why the town board, our representatives, thank you, wisely created this town comprehensive plan. Community members and prospective buyers love that they can come to a place where nature really, truly is respected. And neighbors are truly neighbors with a shared love of the unique characteristics of the land. And I want to insert that we looked and tried to research the freshwater wetlands jurisdiction determination on that land and actually couldn't locate that. It looks as if that particular parcel may not have had that proper step. I don't know. And the seeker to determination, not knowing anything about this, but trying to understand it, how could you come to that without that determination? What maps are you looking at? I just think needs to be some looking into this, because not that there would have been any ill intent, but possibly there was just a mistake. Possibly there was just a missing piece of information that would help us to understand what's really happening on that land. As mentioned, we were those prospective buyers at some point, and I get your point about, hey, we all have our homes and I have children, and my son was in the fires in LA. He's back here now living with us. He has fallen in love with this land. He would like to be the next generation here. Will he be able to afford it? I don't know, but I get it. We do have to protect how we bring people in. And we wanted to progress the solidity and beauty of this existing land. But the community seemed engaged in a local government that respected the watershed and put some of the healthiest limits in the area to stem the tide of suburban sprawl, not just to protect their own individual homes, but for the sake of ecosystems that characterize the uniqueness of our region and the value of the region. My longtime Marbletown neighbors eventually did accept us as locals. Understandably, that took some time. And I came to understand why it took time myself when watching a weekender snark at our wonderful Davenport owner, Bruce Davenport, because he didn't have hazelnut lattes available. Come on. And even though my job as a voice teacher took me to the city, right, for work, as I mentioned, I did my best to support our immediate community in Kingston and Woodstock, by the way, in their aims for environmental health. And that's what draws me to this moment with a concern over the Ashokan-Lapla corridor. It's not because someone wants to build his parents a home or renovate an existing home or create a third home for whatever reason, including financial acquisition. It's not because I don't recognize that change happens. I've lived long enough, I'm 62, to know that change happens. But I've also been a resident here long enough to know that if the local environment is not first in our value system, if we really aren't sure that these maps, that these lands are properly protected, then all the things of value, including economic value, fall in domino effect. And the truest value of our homes are enmeshed in the value of the land. And I know you all know this. I know you do. I'm just saying it as to be on record as a resident. And we know we can look at Woodstock and all those parables and Airbnbs and all of that. We can all look at that. But Marbletown really does have a chance to keep the biggest assets in the foreground. Without protected green nature, good water management, and an abundance of wild animals, we really do interrupt the ecosystem, which I know has been said. And we could become really a less valuable suburb if we do that. So last but not least, I want to say that I carry a strong awareness that at one time I was considered an outsider, a gentrifier, a person who helped drive up the taxes for those around me, likely viewed as part of an urban and suburban influx. And I hold the tension of those seeming opposites, of having that consciousness from the city and being dedicated here. And really, this is my home. My motives moving here were to join the community and help. I renovated my garage into a cottage following all zoning laws. And I was thankful that the zoning board had the laws in place. I never felt it begrudging. I felt like you're protecting all of us when you think about these things. I took on a tenant, but I made only after my mother, whom the cottage was designed for, healed from her injury. And then I resolved to only take on local residents in that cottage. I needed the funds. I was a single working mom. And I want to say that because I absolutely want to go on record as saying that I don't want to signal any disrespect for the current owner of this land, in the sense that I don't know their motives. I don't know. For example, they may be unaware of the environmental impact that their plan actually appears to unleash. And they may need to create a place for their parents or a rental for their own financial needs. But what I do know is that the points Wes has made, and Ariane and Haley, regarding environmental impact studies of this development really go to the core of Marbletown, what makes Marbletown and Lamontville unique and frankly extraordinarily valuable. And that the town comprehensive plan outlines so beautifully. So we must define progress with all these considerations in mind. So I please do ask that the board allow just simply some time for a proper environmental review of looking again at the seeker determination, looking to really see how these wetlands are covered. And Ariane will send all of that. And at the zoning meeting, the question was asked of the owner, who was not in attendance, by the chair, what is the area of disturbance, which was just discussed tonight? And the answer from the owner's lawyer was a profoundly small acreage that took zero wetlands into account. I believe if we really look carefully at what the wetlands are, the area of disturbance will be bigger. And I hope we can just have some time to look at that. The town plan that I believe you all helped to write, but maybe, I don't know if you actually.
No, it's new. It's a new plan.
Well, thank you for that, because it's very, very good. And I see that in essence, it's a mandate really from the local residents of whom you are part of. So I understand that. And I want to thank you for making our voices and your voices heard in the plan. The town plan is what you're charged to implement. We are charged to participate in. And I hope we can just look at this moment as a moment of collaboration, showing up to implement the stewardship of protected lands that the town's values and the value of the town underscores.
Thank you.
That is it. I don't
Thanks.
know if that was too much.
So, no, it's fine. So,
If you want to leave that with me.
yeah, we'll get them out.
Thank you.
And we'll be brief, and I know that somebody else may want to speak, but so by state law, the town board sets zoning laws. The planning board is the review board. So we have no say. The planning board members take classes, they're trained, they go to school. Their charge is given to them under state authorization. So we don't say you have to do this review or that review. They're the experts on it. So
just help me to understand. We were.
Planning
Are
board.
you Max?
yeah,
Yes,
planning
ma'am.
board.
Hello, thank you for your work for the town. Max suggested we come here.
To look at zoning changes.
Right, to look at zoning changes.
Can I just jump in for one
Yes.
second? My reason for steering you guys here is you guys were essentially said you wanted a larger notification district. You wanted to talk about changes to the zoning laws themselves. And that is what this board could potentially explore and make happen.
Good.
They are not going to tell us how to conduct our review.
Got it.
We conduct our review based on state law, based on the town zoning code, and based on our discussions as a board. When something comes in front of us and it seems like, okay, something's not right here, we do a deeper dive into it. And that was why, in large, I didn't close the public hearing at the end of
Yes.
last meeting. I kept it open. I said, we need to explore this more. I heard
Right.
everything that you guys had to say.
Thank you.
In my 11 years of serving this town, I've done my very best to discharge the duties of that office as best I can and listen to people.
Mhm.
And then to hear that some of you basically considered me dismissive, which I don't take kindly to that.
Mhm.
I've been on that board when it was dismissive, where we gave people 2 minutes to talk, and after that, we said no more.
Right.
We heard what you had to say, and we
Yes.
are working with the application to understand what the true environmental impacts here are.
Thank you.
When we look at this application on its face, it is what I consider to be a somewhat minor ask of the property itself from the data alone. If we look at the data and it's a sub 1 acre area of disturbance on a 25 acre lot
Mhm.
that is going to be developed into 3 lots, that on its face is a pretty minimal ask.
Mhm.
I understand there are species that are protected, and the reality of all of Marbletown is that we have those species.
Right.
You plug in just about any SBL into the EAF mapper, it's gonna pop up with the I'm forgetting now, the long-eared bat, the bog turtle. It's gonna pop on every single lot. So we have to take a certain amount of that and look at it and say, okay, is this area known for something along these lines? And maybe look a little bit deeper into it, which is what we're doing as a board right now. So that's basically all I'll say.
I just want to say one thing. I did not experience you as being dismissive.
Mhm.
And I am not here to engage in that level of whatever that's all about. I thank you for your service, and I heard every point you just made at that meeting. So you are repeating those points, and all I'm simply saying is, if you're looking into that more deeply, I didn't take that away, but I'm glad that you're doing that. And it seemed that you wanted us to bring these issues and these concerns here so that you could be part of helping to look into it more deeply. And if we need to go to the planning board or send these letters and information to them as well,
We'll get them to
thank you for
everybody.
that.
And
We'll get them to everybody.
so we are the planning board. That is who is currently reviewing this application.
Zoning, okay.
Planning.
Okay,
Planning board.
It's confusing because it's a zoning law.
yes, I'm sorry.
It gets so
Zoning board
confusing.
itself is a
Board of
zoning board.
Appeals is basically,
Okay.
if somebody doesn't like a decision that we make, they take it to the zoning board of
Right.
appeals or something along those lines.
I think that when you talked about looking at the zoning and I thought I heard you say the zoning board at some point. I somehow thought in that moment that's what was being represented. But anyway, thank you for looking into it. And I think that's what we're asking for, which I hope buys us time to look at the seeker.
So seeker determinations are pretty well outlined by, state bodies that basically tell us, okay, if it is this type of application, it is a type 1. If it is this type of application, it is a type 2. If it doesn't fall into these 2 categories, it's unlisted.
Mhm.
That's essentially how the seeker process works. And it's very few and far between that we have an application in front of us that doesn't fall into a type 2 or a type 1 and then goes as an unlisted.
Mhm.
So we have very clear guidance from the state that basically tells us how to classify these things.
Mhm.
Can I ask one question? What are the voluntary guidelines in Appendix B of the zoning law?
Voluntary guidelines.
It's in the comprehensive town plan, it talks about.
I would have to look at that more specifically. I can't do that right off the top of my head. I apologize.
Sorry,
Thanks,
but
Max.
that seems like a conversation for you guys to have on a planning board side, not for us as a town board side. So if you want to have it, I think you can do that.
Like I said,
I have
my
it.
reason for
I have it.
directing them here was, they
About the
want-
zoning, I get it.
The zoning, and they also want a larger area of notification. So if we could, in the coming months, look at expanding the area of notification regarding that.
And can I just say too, given the independence of the planning board, and we really value your work. The only area like seeker review, sometimes maybe you guys ask us to be the lead agency, or how does
No.
that?
We circulate for lead agency, depending on what the application is, but you know.
Not to us.
No, not
Not
you
to the
guys.
town
No,
board.
Okay.
It gets
It could
circulated.
be DEC, it could be DOT, it could be state police, yeah, it could be never us that I know of. Okay,
Hi, sorry I had to sit. I've been running around and my dog wouldn't poop and I haven't had any food or water, so I gotta sit. My name's Cynthia. I live at 710 Lopla Road and was informed of what's happening and became concerned, as many of our neighbors are. I think, we were talking last week with Max and everybody else, and for me, a lot of construction, having lived in Brooklyn for 20-something years, lived out on Long Island, lived out west in the mountains in my youth, moving here back to the mountains to be in the mountain community again, which we love. We love our road, we love our neighbors. We've met more of them because of this situation. What's been happening on our road, and we are not opposed to anyone building a house. That's not the situation. What it is there's been non-stop construction since the pandemic, and I'm home every day, and I hear it like incessantly. Huge, sounds like mountains are falling. It's just, you can't understand it unless you're like literally hearing it. Like it's nonstop. There's no peace. It comes spring to the end of like when it gets cold, it's just like and like all these trucks. I've almost been hit 4 times, like a serious, huge trucks of workers, of construction men, the delivery truck stuff too is increased, but I'm talking about construction stuff happening. My dog's almost been hit by cars 3 times. We own both sides of the road. It's people walk on our road as if, like we're in the country. It's getting dangerous on that road at a level that I feel safer driving around Brooklyn.
and we appreciate that, but
Yes.
when the Shokan Road had 100 cars a day, is that when we should have said nobody else can live here? So anybody after
No.
2005 can't have a house here?
No,
Should
but-
we have said when there's 150 cars,
but yes,
nobody, what I'm getting at
yes,
is,
I hear you.
how do we answer that question?
But I
We
think
want
what-
people to move in our community and live
But,
here.
I think communication with the community is also a concern for me, since I brought up the 500-foot rule that I think is like silly in a mountain. I'm never gonna,
Okay.
I'm never gonna be told what's happening until there's noise happening, right? I'm never gonna know of these things because of that rule.
Well, can I just,
believe it needs
I do
be
want to stop you
expanded.
because on that.
Yeah.
First off, the requirements of a planning board or a town board to advertise are putting them in the local newspaper. The Freeman and the Shangam Journal are our 2 newspapers of record. The Bluestone Press can't be because it has to be a daily or a weekly. So the Bluestone doesn't fall in that category. So, no, I'm going to finish. So Heather or Laura and the planning board, they notify legally every single application. The 500-foot marker is not required
Right.
by law.
That's what I'm
It's in the
saying.
Marbletown Code that was put in 20 years ago, so we abide by it.
And I'm just asking that it
But-
be.
but no, but I wanna say
reviewed
even-
in
even
another
better than-
election thing to try to maybe expand it for more.
And we can
Well,
look at
we
that.
were told that,
But just,
but the
let me finish a second,
My,
but even,
my brain doesn't hold
No.
all the thoughts, please.
no,
let
I
me
want to,
finish.
finish because,
I wanna
no, I'm gonna finish, all right? We have a website. Every single application is on our website. We have people, residents that can sign up for e-news. Now, again, let me finish. Every planning board, every town board, every zoning board, environmental commission, every agenda, every minutes to every meeting gets emailed to people. We're not required to do that by law. We do it because we know that's good government. It's open government. I cannot, after sitting here for years, and we go over and above to notify the public. If somebody in the public doesn't know what's going on in Marbletown, honestly, it's your own fault because we are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We have, if we do an e-blast tonight, there's 500 residents have put their email addresses. Simple, just tell Michelle, send me information. So I don't want to, I honestly, I don't want to sit here late at night hearing that we're not advertising correctly because I don't want to hear that because it's not true. It's not true.
It's a different
No,
perspective.
it's not true.
I have a neighbor who doesn't have an internet and she doesn't have a text.
Then she reads the Freeman and it's in the Freeman
And I.
or the
last
Sangam
week,
Journal.
We were told there is an email to join, but no one gave us that email and I would love it because I think
on the
we'd all
website.
love
It's on the
to join.
website. It says, put your email address in it and you can get every single newsletter you want from us.
These were things I did not know, and these are questions I'm just inquiring on as a
Okay.
concerned neighbor for my neighbors who are literally being impacted. And I am also just from the road danger. And like we have a neighbor who was impacted by that prior construction that was talked about earlier. Their level of privacy and light invasion on their lives and noise is it's just changed their life. And I think that we're just asking for some consideration to look at the proposals and with some more environmental concerns to also the impact of what's happening on our road, because it is exceptionally constructed now on Ashokan and Lopla at a level that I think is like getting dangerous just because of all the traffic. And that's why I'm here, because I love
So listen,
where we live.
so options
Just
are
like you.
residents, everybody that lives in Marbletown, we can put permanent conservation easements on our property so they can never be further developed. I would advise you to talk to your neighbors and do that. Then you
Some
don't ever
neighbors
have to worry about putting another house up next to you.
Yes, some neighbors have it.
So that's clearly an option. Buying up property. I didn't want a neighbor next to me. My brother and I split, 50 acres. It cost us a ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't have neighbors, but I spent the money to buy the property.
Okay.
That's another option everybody in this room has. You can't ask us to change the law because of one application in front of the planning
No,
board.
it's
That's not good
based
public
on one-
policy.
based on
It's
the
not-
application,
it's not what we
based
do.
on the
It's
things
kinda what
that
it
are
sounds
happening around us is what we're trying to kind of
It's what?
get
Developers
get
have
the
more money when a property goes up for sale and you put it, and you want
I
to
get
buy
that.
it,
I get it.
you know, you lose it. We just put an offer in.
I get
on
it.
property
I get
and
it.
lost.
I get it.
So
Listen,
buyers.
it's not easy.
and
Can I
I
just jump in here real quick for a minute? I understand like the frustration that you're all going through. It's not just Ashokan and Lapla Road. If I stand at the end of my driveway, I can see 3 houses getting built.
Max and I are neighbors, just so you
From
know.
the end of my driveway, you can go anywhere in Marbletown,
That's
anywhere in
6 houses.
Gulfport County for that matter. This is
Make
what,
it right.
no, but please, let me finish. We have, I think, one of the most beautiful, amazing communities. It's why when I got out of college, I came back here and like chose to dedicate, basically all of my free time to volunteering, to serving this community. It's like, I love this place. It's part of like who I am, and it is changing. And we have laws to protect the changes so it doesn't become something that we don't all know and love and recognize. That's not to say, and I would think I was misquoted before saying that progress. I don't necessarily think that it is all outright progress. I think that change is inevitable. I think that throughout the course of human history, you can't pick one period of time where everything just stayed the same. Change is going to happen. It's our job as a planning board to be the stewards of responsible development and make sure that people aren't going against the
Nice, that's what we're
character
asking
and
for,
trait.
actually.
the characters and traits that make this community what it is. And the zoning code, speaking to the board, I can't actually just like address.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me,
Sorry
because
to
I'm
everybody
sitting here.
The zoning code is, I think it's a pretty solid document in the fact that like 4 acres of zoning is a luxurious amount of acreage for a lot of, you look at a lot of municipalities don't have 4 acre zoning anywhere within them. So to have 4-acre zoning within that district is somewhat of a luxury for that matter. And I think it's part of what makes that area so special. I kind of got lost there.
No, it's-
It's okay. Look, we all have passion for our community. And I appreciate that we have the dialogue. We're not here to stomp our feet and say our way or no way. It's just about a lot of us. And I hear you, Rich, that there are things that I'm learning as I'm living up here. I didn't know about the 500-foot thing. It's breaking my heart. I would have been here much more often. You would know me like one of my neighbors back there knows me, or Dave on the other board knows me. I mean well, but I care. And
Well, keep coming. We'll get you on a board soon. We need volunteers and we need people. So we always appreciate anybody that wants to help
And look,
make the
it's,
community a better place.
I don't know this neighbor down the road who had this opportunity. But what I understood was that he promised the owner who sold, who was a firefighter who died of cancer from 9/11, that he was going to protect the land. And in my opinion, I hear, yes, you can put more things on your property. I think my concern is he doesn't need to subdivide, because to me, I hear profit. I don't hear, I want another building for my parents. I hear, I want another private lot that I can build and then sell and make a profit on. That is my concern. That is where
And he's making
But he's allowed to do that. He's allowed to do that. We can't legislate that. We can't legislate that.
Can't legislate how much somebody makes on something.
Someone who sold, and I do believe to protect when we do sell our land or our property, that we do put the caveats on, and to help kind of maybe guide or rein in someone who says one thing and wants to do another. I guess that's it. And
But
that's
it's
my
just hard to
concern.
legislate that stuff.
Of course, and that's why I think that having information that gives positive and intricate laws and bylaws to community people like myself to understand, well, oh, I own this, then maybe it's a good idea if I try to get that into my yada,
So-
yada, yada. So that's all.
So, no, I appreciate it. So just on a totally other note, we all know we've purchased some property with our preservation fund. Hopefully you've all walked Marbletown Meadows. We've got another one that we're about to close on across from Emmanuel's. We actually have people that live close to that are mad because people are going to be walking close to their houses. So we can't win no matter what we do. So it's really, really frustrating. It's just hard because it's like, I would love to have 100 acres next to me that I could walk on, but people don't want anybody pulling their car up and walking on it. And it's like, what do you do, Ken? And then you go.
Just real quick, and and thank you for bringing up a lot of these points. We've spent well over an hour and 15 minutes on what you all wanted to bring up. I think one of the things you really have to look at, and we have to look at it as a town, back when I entered kindergarten, the population of this country was about 120 to 125 million. It's now 370, closing in on 400 million. The population of Marbletown is less today than when I went to kindergarten. Okay, so in a very real statistical way, we are failing to thrive from a growth standpoint, right? So when you look at that in the context of that, how do you support an economy in today's world where you have zero growth in, hate to admit this, 53 years? Okay, that's what that's kind of what you have to look at and take into a large picture, along with the balance. And again, since I've been on the board, I've advocated changing the town plan to use the words balance between economy growth, balance between quality of life. You have to have a balance. And it can't just be zero either way, right? And some of what we've heard is about communication, and some is about looking at some of the zoning laws and how do you tweak them. And right, we've been doing that. That is being done. So from that standpoint, I think as a board, we're already doing what you've asked. I'm just presenting that on a very large, real standpoint. I mean, neither of my children are coming back to this community. There's no opportunity and there's no ability for them to sustain and stay here. So that is something that I focus on and is something you have to look at to go, well, how do you make that work? You can't make it work if you say no to everything, right? And you can't make it work if you say yes to everything. You got to be right and balanced. So kind of that's the wrap up for me. Okay.
And do we have
I
other?
guess it sounds like the main thing was zoning code is being updated right now by you and Daisy Foot to.
And honestly, we're not looking at Lamontville. We're looking in the hamlet towards more rental units and cluster homes in areas we have municipal water ready.
So this is something I could follow up with because I don't want to.
Yeah, no, reach out to us. We love hearing
Is
from.
it like you take calls or something?
Yeah, I'll give you my number. Yeah, anytime. You're welcome to come in, whatever you want.
But Ken, I hear what you're saying completely, and balance is, I think, what is the concern, and the water. You know, we're all on wells, and we've talked earlier before our thing on the aquifer, and just on my property, one old well is mostly full, then sometimes not. The one way back near the swamp, out of water all the time now. All my trees are dying. I lost 1.5 acres and.
But
some
the
savings
courts
from
have
it, and it's
ruled you
nature.
own the water under
So
your
we have
property.
to-
So we're
Thank you.
even in a tricky situation with
Yes.
that. The courts have ruled if it's under your land, you own it. So
Yes.
it's hard. I
I
mean,
think
they're
it's
dealing
just
with tough stuff.
The thought of more wells as they each dip into the aquifers that give our neighborhoods these abilities to live and shower and water and whatnot. That's the other concern that I think is to have that consideration of, yes, the gentleman has the right to put 3 things, but can't we just go slower? Like, why don't you just fix that hot mess of ick? And then we'll revisit
Well,
doing more. for
so
you.
when somebody
Things
goes
like
to
that.
so just so you know, when somebody brings a application to the planning board or
Yeah.
zoning board, it is allowed by our code. Not zoning board, planning board. It's allowed by our code. If it's not allowed by our code, like if that property, somebody said, I want to build a 6-story apartment building, the planning board wouldn't even hear it because it's not allowed by our code. They only take projects and applications that are allowed by code. Probably in 50 years in Marbletown, no application's ever been rejected that has come through, met the environmental rules, met the zoning code. They're not allowed to reject them if they meet our code because we'll get sued and then we'd lose. So what I'm getting at is it's for them to slow it down. It's just, they can't.
We have to
It's,
be fair to all.
They have to be fair to everyone,
landowners in the community, regardless of whether they just purchased that property, regardless of whether they purchased that property in 2018, regardless of whether they purchased that property in 1992. It's like, if you own this piece of land, you have rights that are set forth within our code, and it's the planning board's job to make sure that the laws within the code are applied to all residents of Marbletown fairly and equitably. That's the duties that we're discharged with.
I guess I
Can
don't
we
have
just
the
stop for a
write-up
minute?
in
I don't know.
my,
let Tim
I don't know
go.
how many other people want to speak.
Yeah, does anybody else want to
We do
speak?
have a limit,
We
a
wanna be- yeah.
3-minute limit.
Yeah, we've been pretty liberal, but
I just.
okay, yeah, just finish up
You're
then.
right on what Marbletown is. It's beautiful about balance and consideration of all of us. And I guess to me,
That's why
it's
we're all
really
here.
more PR than actual application. And so we're just asking you to look at what the write-up is for you and give us a little consideration to think. And yes, we can keep moving, but we don't have to move at rapid, like super speed.
Well,
We
but if
can
you had an
move-
application, you would want them to move it out. That's what just Max said. They have a requirement to get projects from application to determination in a timely manner, as long as they supply the stuff. They're required to by law.
And I just want to say again that we're open to feedback
Yeah,
around
I
any
love it.
zoning law changes.
We're
that
not
we can
experts in
consider.
it by any
When we
imagination.
redid the town plan in the 24, I think we had one person here to provide comment
Yeah.
on the revision of the plan. We
Yes.
worked really hard on it.
2 public hearings,
Right,
one
we had 2
time in.
public hearings. Yes.
Oh, do you guys should go to our website and sign up for e-blast. I'm telling you, we do more than anybody else around. I get it. We're all busy. I know.
I just want to say I've been reading your minutes gratefully for years.
Great.
And somehow I missed this piece regarding this land. And I really think it's time to wrap it up.
Okay.
which
I'm
you
done.
asked
I'm
us to
just
help you
sitting.
with, Because you've been very clear and now we know what to do. We need to focus on what we can focus on and move forward.
And yeah, we're happy with suggestions, working together to look at making our code better for the whole town.
Yes.
And we're all into that. Thank you, guys. Have a happy holidays, Thanksgiving. And Mr. Golden was my in-school suspension teacher, in case anybody didn't know that. And I was there all the time. Good to see everybody. Thank you. Make a motion to adjourn.
I
Second.
Second.
Vivi, you gonna vote on this? Aye. All right, Vivi did it.